Put on your helmets and buckle your chin straps for the wildest podcast held in the Steel City. Dubs and Chickenhawk will give you a taste of the past in fried jumbo.
We're blessed today to have a very special guest, Todd. I don't know if you know this or not, but we actually pulled someone from our former Helms baseball team.
Oh, boy.
Little League. All the way back to
The immortal Helms baseball team.
The immortal Helms baseball team for being actually the most similar team to the Bad News Bears of any team in history. So we're going to throw it back to Helms baseball. We have Dave, who later became Norwin's self-proclaimed greatest athlete over 39 years old.
Yeah, I think, east of Pittsburgh. He was the self-proclaimed greatest athlete over 40. A lot of accomplishments.
Yeah, and what happened, there was an event that triggered that immortality, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened.
We'll get to that.
And we're going to get to that. So welcome, Dave. Come on in. Take a seat.
David.
Hey, Davey, baby. What's
Welcome,
up, brother?
buddy. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. Welcome to Throw It Back, my friend. Let's throw it back to when you were a kid. How did it all start?
Yeah.
Dave, where are you from?
Tell us about where you grew up.
It's right off North Huntington, PA, off of Brownstown Road.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is Larmer.
Larmer.
It's the high end district of Larmer.
Yeah.
Okay, high end.
Not down there. Not down there.
Because there's two.
Shit Creek,
There's
they
two
say.
ends of it. There's the Sulphur Creek side, and then there's the mountainous up in the top, the heights. Let's just call it. So you would be.
Yeah, don't forget the sewage plant.
Oh, yeah, there's the sewage plant.
Yeah. So
That's
you
right.
were, I would say, south of the sewage plant, but had a nice, view from above.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
of like coal mines and the smoke coming from the steel mills. If our listeners don't know, where we're from is east of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, kind of where the coal and the steel and the slag dumps all meet, right?
Yes.
Flower Garden of America we grew up in.
Oh,
Well, it was suburbia.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
suburbia of smoke.
Of coal
Yeah.
mines.
When we were little. Remember?
Industrial Revolution, suburban
Yeah.
lifestyle.
Kind of was. It's a good
Yeah.
call.
I know. I feel good about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was real.
But anyhow.
Hell yeah.
So Larmer was just a, stone's throw from a place called Skellytown. And there were some characters, if I remember, growing up in Skellytown. Can you tell us a little bit about some of them crazy people?
I got in a lot of trouble. But I left the house. There was a pond there you could fish.
Yeah.
It's
Mill.
Skellytown.
Chemical pond, probably.
Well, I don't know what it was.
Probably was it near a coal mine or something,
It
or
was
steel
near,
mill, or
that
railroad.
whole area was mined.
Yeah.
So
And where was Skellytown from your house? Like, how did you get down there?
you would have to cross through Maple Driving.
Like, so that old drive-in theater
Yeah.
that used to be
It was
there.
still open then.
Okay, you have to go down through there and then down through the woods, and you're
Yeah, there was a trail that would lead you to Skellytown Road.
okay. And then down in there, that's where some more, I guess you would say, for lack of better words, like Appalachian type.
Yeah, very rural.
Was it? Yeah, there was just a little niche right in there, right?
Yeah.
You had
It
highways.
was like going back in time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you went, 4 or 5 miles down, and you're in Turtle Creek. You're right in the city there. You're
Yeah.
starting to climb right in the city. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy right now.
Most people are cross-eyed from there, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. Maybe
There's
walking,
not a real good gene pool, let's put it that way.
Well, there-
walking
there-
with some sort of a gimp or limp or, there was, I remember there were some
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
in school from there.
I was about 8 years old.
Yeah.
Left the house. Me and a buddy of mine. We said we're going to go fishing.
What
at
year
mill
was
pond.
this? What-
78.
78.
1978.
I never told my parents where I was going. I was gone for the whole day. So they had like the police looking for me, everything else.
Oh, they knew you were gone. Our parents,
didn't know where I was
didn't
at.
even know we
Yeah,
were
they-
gone,
well-
so there was no cops called.
Well, when I didn't come home for a while,
Yeah,
they finally put the red alert out. So they find out
Your
I was
poor
at
dad.
the mill pond.
Down at the
So
mill
I
pond.
got home, after surviving. Coming out of the mill pond unscathed was, hard
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah.
Then I got home and took an ass kicking.
Was the mill pond because of what? There was a mill close to there, or what was it?
No, I don't know why they called it that. It's still there.
Probably because it was slag and probably wasn't natural earth. It was just a
Right.
indentation of where.
There's some kind of drainage basin.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Did you
But it
catch
still
it?
exists. There's fish in it still.
Oh, did you catch anything?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Bullhead catfish.
Ooh,
Bullhead catfish.
bullhead cat.
And when you're little, that's a good day.
I was having so much fun. I didn't know my parents had the police looking for me.
Right.
They thought I got abducted.
But you had to go across Maple
Oh,
Drive.
yeah,
in.
that was
And
tough.
what kind of feature did they have on that day? Because it turned kind of be
Yeah, it
triple
went,
X
it
there
went,
for a while.
Triple X. It was 50-50. Triple X and then,
Grease.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, it was
It was
50,
an actual.
then it went all porn.
It was an actual outdoor movie theater that showed dirty films.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that's great for an 8-year-old.
Yeah, it was
great
good.
environment.
Right in North Huntington Township.
You throw
No
it
one
back.
cared about Maple Driving.
You
No.
throw it back to these times, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, what kind of place had?
Could you imagine that today?
You know what shut Maple down is VCR revolution.
Yeah,
Oh,
people
yeah,
didn't have
that's
to.
right. That started
Didn't have
shutting
to
up.
You'd
hide.
have to sneak through Jagger bushes, to go watch a movie.
Yeah,
Right.
Believe it or not, most people don't even know what Jagger bushes are. Do you
No,
know
that's
that?
that's a Pittsburgh's.
Pittsburgh.
They say
Yeah, that is
things.
Jagger
Jaggers.
bushes.
Yeah,
Right.
those are those thorny type things. Or
Well, skunks, Jagger bushes. You had to go through all kind of stuff to get down.
yeah, they call
You
it.
didn't know what was going to get you.
Because I said that one time to a
There's
guy.
derelicts from Skelly Town.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
Yeah,
hey,
but every neighborhood had that kind of thing. You had a little pond, you had some woods, you had kids that you were afraid to walk through the woods because if they got a hold of you on their
That was the worst part of it.
yeah, if they got a
fear
hold
was the
of
worst
The
part.
fear.
yeah, if they got a hold of you, you might spend the day tied to a tree or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's true.
They
Imagine
pull-
if they did that today. Holy mackerel!
yeah.
The kids can't get away with that stuff today.
But I do remember people pulling buck knives
Oh,
and
yeah,
crazy
but-
stuff.
Knives were always a big thing. Remember?
What was buck knives? Like why would
Yeah,
they
why was that so
why would they
popular?
let kids carry
The chain wallet.
Yeah, carry but why would they let them carry a knife on?
Like, why would you have to carry a chain wallet when you're in 8th grade?
Yeah, you don't have any money.
It is what it is.
You don't have anything to put
Nobody
in the
had any
wallet.
money then. Yeah. If you don't know, in the late '70s in Pittsburgh, we had our unemployment rate was as high as the Great Depression. So
18%.
nobody had much money. It was always, are the lights on? Are we gonna have heat? The whole 9 yards,
Yeah,
right?
it was literally putting meat on the table was
Yeah.
not a statement. It was something that people actually tried to accomplish.
Yeah, there's no better word said right there. So, Dave, you went from there, and then a little bit after that is when we started to meet you, right? We ran into you, huh? You crossed
Yeah.
paths with us.
We
Yeah.
crossed paths maybe a year later or so at the
Yeah.
Helms,
79. It's Helms.
Helms Baseball. I don't know if people
Wow.
can see the Helms trucking sign. We pay homage to that team because
Yeah.
we met a hell of a lot of good people. And, I don't know who's watching, but there's a movie called Bad News Bears. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out.
Yeah.
Because that movie was sort of indicative of Little League Baseball in the 70s. You had
Yeah.
people fixing drafts so that their kids could get picked and they could stack
Yeah,
teams.
the coaches would. Some
Yeah,
coaches
they
would,
still do that. I'm telling you. I
tell
coach
kids
them,
not to
like,
go to
holy
the
mackerel.
draft so
Yeah.
they could stack teams.
Yeah, you had that kind of thing. So you had this, team that were all perfectly built sports specimens and brand new uniforms, and then you had us with like
Helms
uniforms that we inherited from 25 years
Well,
ago.
my dad was the coach, so I bet he didn't even go to the draft, and so he just got who he got. And back in those days, parents weren't so involved, right? They just dropped their kids off and you were gone. They would leave. They'd go wherever, bar, wherever they went to, home, cut the grass, whatever they had to do. So
Oh no. Most
So-
people either walked there, rode their bike there, or if they lived far away, like you guys live kind of far, you
yeah,
got dropped
I
off.
lived like 5-6 miles. I was a good way, so I'd get dropped off, be there all day. My parents would just come get us sometime down in Irwin.
Yeah, it was crazy times. But Todd was the oldest of us, so
Yep.
I played with Todd when I was 10 years old. I think you were 11 or 12. So he was the pitcher, I was the catcher.
Yep.
And then when Todd moved on and went to the big leagues, which we call Pony League,
With Mr. Croup, baby.
you went on the traveling Pony League team.
Yeah.
Right in behind you came Dave, Bart,
Ernie Antolik.
Ernie Antolik. There was a bunch of
We had some great kids on that.
characters that came
my
through there.
gosh. We had Volpe, we had Rothwell, we had a lot of good people on that team. It was a lot of fun.
We actually had a good team.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was like the Bum Phillips thing. We couldn't kick the door in.
No, I mean we were real competitive, but we
yeah,
really
I mean, he never kicked it
but
in.
we really never practiced or anything.
Hey, we had Sam Sampsons on the rope if you weren't there. They were the all-star team, baby. We
I remember
had them on the
yeah.
rope,
We had them.
and I was pitching, and Dubs was catching.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dubs in the day, he was the smallest kid in the team. Now he's a big man, but he was like, and
tiny.
the catcher's thing, you didn't go out and buy new shit, right?
Nah.
Because you got what you got in the bag. And the catcher's thing would touch the dirt, down in
That
your,
little black
Between
you know
your
how, like,
legs?
that little
Yeah.
thing that
The
goes
chest
between your legs? It
protector?
was so big on me that it tangled
Yeah.
me into the ground.
yeah.
See, it was funny because I was even smaller than you.
Yeah.
You seem big.
No, dude, I was
No,
tiny.
He was a
Do you
twig.
know I weighed 78 pounds in 7th grade?
Yeah.
78 pounds.
Yeah. Then
I
he,
think I tipped the scales a sophomore in high school. I was 101 pounds.
Okay, that's small.
Yeah, I was.
Because I got up to about 129 by then, 130.
Yeah, Dubs was he was the catcher, and I could vividly remember this in my mind. Like, so you can remember some visuals your whole life, right? Of him with that chest
Oversized
protector
chest
in the
protector.
dirt, and him going like this, waving his arm, standing up, hat crooked, like it always still is today, right?
Yeah.
And me trying to whoop the ball over the plate, but we had Sanses down to the last out.
We had him by like 2 runs,
We
too.
had him by 2 runs and a drop ball in left field, and we all cried for 3 days. But it was awesome.
But it was awesome. We lost by 1 run, and they had a walk-off. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but it went right in our dude's hands. Like it was a little pop-up
Yeah.
to left field, maybe mid-left field.
Right.
And he goes like this and tries to do that, like squeeze,
little
like
basket
this.
catch.
Basket catch.
Yeah.
And it hits his hand and pops up
right in
and
the
goes
palm.
on the ground. Everybody was running because there was 2 outs, and there was
Yeah.
two or bases were loaded or whatever.
Yep.
They cleared them off.
He
and,
catches that, it's over. It would have been the greatest upset
in the history.
in the
of,
history of Little League baseball. It would have been, for sure.
I still
Helms
remember
was
that
on the
like it
cusp.
was yesterday. I can still see the ball flying out to this young man. I don't want to mention it because I love him, but
Yeah.
When he dropped that, oh my goodness.
My, he's such a good guy, too.
Yeah,
But, hey, it taught you about life, right, when we grew up that way, you know? You cried, you fought. I know at the beginning of the game, we had a catcher, Donnie Selcher, who's not with us anymore. He'd get out there in the dirt when people would start yelling at the coach, MFing him. And then there's a fist fight right at the beginning of the game. My dad was a coach. He's like, oh, my God, every game there's a
We
fight.
had to be in 20 fist fights in Little League
Yeah.
the year that he was there.
Even the players.
Yeah, we would fight the other team before the game.
Every game.
Donnie would
Start a
cause
fight.
some kind of trouble.
It would
You know,
turn into a bench clear.
And it would turn into some kind of like wrestling
some type
match
of-
or.
And he wasn't a big kid, so usually he was on the bottom of the pile, so he had to go
he
run out
was
and help.
literally
Yeah.
the smallest dude on
Yeah.
the team. But he's the dude. He was my neighbor growing up, and we found out we got drafted by Helms. You know how like you go up to them tryouts or
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
when you're 10 years
Yeah.
old.
and you know right away
God.
you're on a clunker.
Yeah, you
We
know.
had
if, like,
athletes. We just
you know that if like Mr. The Dairy Queen Purple wasn't calling you, or
Yeah.
the Genuine Tool people weren't calling you, or
Sam
Sanson's.
Yeah.
If you weren't on those 3, you know you were going to be battling out for 5 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? You were going to be battling out every game. So we found out we were on Helms, and we knew some people in Helms, and I knew that your dad was going to coach it. So
you knew
we
my
were
dad.
pumped up, and we're walking up this paper alley, and he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet Mr. Patterson," and this and that. And I said, Don, hey, listen, sometimes you come across a little, little bit tough, rough. Try to, take it easy.
Loosen up a little
ease
bit.
into this thing a little bit. It's our first go in Little League. We're out of Bantam League now.
My.
Let's just go up there and stay quiet and see where they want to play us and, that kind of thing. And Mr. Patterson's up there and the whole team's there and we're coming in and Mr. Patterson calls the huddle together and he's like, "Hey, boys, bring it in. We want to talk to you here real quick."
I can remember this, too.
So we get this circle around the pitcher's mound and there's like 12 or 15, 10, 11, 12-year-old boys standing there and we're all excited. And Ed goes, "Well, I want to tell you, I'm Ed Patterson. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I, played sports at Norway and graduated in 1960. My son's Todd and Bart."
Yeah.
And
We all kind of knew each other.
Yeah.
Because we're all from the from the
Yeah.
neighborhood, right? From the area.
but Donnie, he just goes, "Hey, Mr. Patterson, I don't want to interrupt you, but I got to interrupt you. I just want you to know that around Penguin ball fields, I'm the fucking boss.
Yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
You're not."
I can't believe I can't believe I didn't fight him right there. I can remember it in the hair to the back
did
of my
your
neck.
dad
Just
say?
start fighting right there.
And he said, "I want to be catcher
Yeah.
or first base. Other than that, you're going to have a hard time."
He got kicked out for a while because I think that's why you ended up being catcher because they couldn't have him on the field.
Oh, yeah, we were in trouble nonstop.
It was crazy.
But just a great dude. But he always
He grew up to play in the Pan American games. Right?
No, that was his brother.
Oh, that was
His brother got into karate and actually won the Pan Am games, and he won the world championship like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, they were from a single mom, right? Or was their dad around?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, was he?
Mr.
I
Seltzer
never
was
knew
around.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened is Donnie, shortly after the Helms incident, he
Right.
moved with his real mom in Greensburg. He moved out of the area.
Okay. I knew he was.
And
with
then
one of
his
parents.
dad and his stepmom,
Right.
they stayed down here, and that's when, and Douglas stayed down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Doug.
Yeah, and then I didn't see Donnie for a long time after that.
Right.
But great dude. We spent tons of time together when we were little. But yeah, Helms, we had so much fun. And it was a blast.
And my dad was a salesman, so he'd show up sometimes and not show up. And the other dads were like either in the mill, if they were laid off,
Right.
they would show up. If not, they were usually working, so they weren't there. So the dads weren't so involved at all. I can remember my dad wouldn't show up. My mom and Chris's mom, Dobbs's mom, would my dad would call last minute, 1 second to go. And they'd always bring candy and chips and stuff and make sure we were well fed. We'd make up the lineup and go play baseball. It was like nuts.
Yeah, I remember a story about that. My mom was keeping the book, the baseball book, where you draw all that little picture.
Keep the scores and everything.
Scores and all that.
Yeah.
Statistics.
And I don't remember who. I'm pretty sure it was Redding. One of the guys. I shouldn't say who it was, but one of the guys struck out. You have to put a K
Right.
in the book, right?
Right.
You
Big
know how
K.
it goes.
Big
Like
K,
you
right
put a
in the
K
middle.
right there for striking out or whatever. And he came back in and he was pouting and he looked at my mom and he's like, "I don't really like the size of that K. That's a little bit." Yeah, he goes, "That's a little bit big." And my mom, she took the pencil and said, "Well, how's this do?" And she wrote a giant K across the entire book.
Little bit.
She made it the
Exclamation
entire
point
side of
about
the
it.
book. She wrote,
K.
"No, go sit down."
Yeah, right. Welcome to being raised when we were raised, right?
That's what she said.
No hugs and kisses. Sorry, son.
Yeah, she just said, "Hey, how about
Yeah.
this? Does this K work for you?" Go sit down.
Special K.
Go
Yeah.
sit,
So she made
go
it the
sit down.
entire, like, she gave up keeping score. She just put a K
Yeah.
across the whole entire thing.
But we did win some games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we won some
That was
games.
good
We
times.
made it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Our year. When Swankler took over.
Yeah, that was my
Now,
last.
Clark,
That was my last
The first
year.
practice I went to.
Yeah.
Now, I came from a pretty good coach in Bantam League,
Yeah,
but that ended up a disaster too. That's a whole different story.
that was
That
alcohol.
led to a lot of frustration.
That was
with me.
alcoholism at its
Well,
finest.
Maybe it turned me into an alcoholic.
Could be.
Did you remember most of
At
the
least
dads
you have
and-
an excuse.
Most
Yeah.
of the dads and coaches did smell like beer or booze when they were there. It was just,
But you had coaches that hated
Oh,
each
they
other.
got
Like they
done.
wanted to kill
Oh,
each other.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
It was a
You know,
rough
they-
crowd.
because they were half pickled.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Think
I
about
showed
it.
up to the Helms practice. The coach was so bad. He was a farmer from where was he?
Rilton.
Yeah, Rilton.
Yeah, absolutely, Rilton. I remember it.
Well, the farmers are good baseball
No,
players.
not
too,
this
though.
guy.
No.
No, he knew nothing about baseball. His son was a left-handed. He threw left-handed. He had him playing shortstop.
Shortstop, and the other one was
And he was
teeny-
terrible.
The other one was super tiny.
Yeah.
like a little. He looked like that little bird on the Sylvester.
Yeah.
that little bird.
I was thinking to myself, like, how did this
He
guy
looked like a
get-
Chickenhawk.
how-
What they look
what
like?
even
No, he was like
possessed
a
him
little
to
baby
coach?
bird. This kid.
How did he
And
find
I think
Penguin?
they put him at first base.
Oh, my gosh.
So we have this tiny.
Ball hit him in the chest.
Yeah, we have a tiny little dude at first base, and we have this.
No, he just wanted his kids to play.
Yeah, it was terrible, and he drove a cattle truck.
Yeah, the one day I think he drove a regular truck.
I think
but
I
the one
remember
game
this.
it broke down.
Yeah,
He showed up at Penguin by the tennis courts with the cattle truck with cows in it.
like an 18-wheeler.
I mean, they were in there mooing
And stuff.
There was like
Oh, my
5
goodness.
cattle in there.
Yeah, and remember, instead of bringing water, what did
Oh,
he
he'd bring hot coffee, Pall Mall cigarettes, non-filtered. I remember. Him.
Yeah, oh,
And then
yeah, they
instead of
smoked
bringing
right in
like a
your
jug
face.
of ice water,
Yeah.
hot coffee.
Yeah.
He'd just drink it. He didn't care about anybody.
But he would
hell
say,
no.
"Hey, boys, if you want something, you can have a slug
yeah,
of
you
my
could
coffee."
have this coffee here.
Thanks. It's 95
Yeah.
degrees, sir.
Yeah, well, the parents were really worried about the kids like they are.
Well,
it's,
I mean, this,
Oh yeah.
it
You
was-
want to hit on this Pall Mall?
yeah, right. Oh, everybody smoked right in your face.
But
But
he was the
Swankler
worst.
took over the next year, and we got good.
But
Oh,
you,
yeah.
But you know what?
But
One-
that we ended up not getting.
One
done
thing you
then
did when
either.
your parents weren't around you and hovering you and all that stuff is you learned that you had to deal with stuff. You had to
Yeah.
deal with it. You had to deal with the bullies. You had to deal with the tough stuff. You had to deal with
There was a
dropping
lot
the
of
ball in
bullies.
left field.
Yeah, bullies were everywhere.
Yeah, they were.
We already went over that with Skelly Donna.
But no, that was only one
Skelly time.
small speck of bullyism, though.
Yeah.
Skellytown was a metaphor for the rest of every community.
Yeah.
Every little community had a
Yeah.
5 or
I think
6.
downtown Kabul, Stafford, and Skellytown.
Yeah, Skellytown was tough.
What? Wonder why it's named Skelly. Was there a skeleton found there, or who
That's what I'm
knows?
wondering.
I don't know. We'll have to look
Skelly?
at it. We'll have to look
We'll
it
have
up.
to look it up in the history books.
I probably deserved that name, but
Yeah,
Yeah, they
it
probably
was
did find
definitely
some
something goofy
skeletons.
down there.
it's still goofy down there.
Next time on Fried Jumbo.
So
It was a
Dave goes
walk-on.
to Penn State, at McKeesport. Then he goes to Maine.
Right.
And then what do? You decide you're going to do what?
That's when I knew there was a tryout. It was a walk-on tryout
For the football.
for the football team, Penn State, the main
So,
day of
Dave,
people.
let me take this back. You didn't play high school
No,
sport.
he started. He started.